community is very, very...
1983. We have 3 children, 13 years old daughter, 11 years old boy, and a 9 years old very smart daughter. Before that Saturday, I used to be the chief development of an organization that called Desert Stars. Desert Stars is dealing with Bedouin leadership. We want to develop young Bedouin leadership, and my main project is to build a campus with a school, dormitories, science building, in order to raise the young Bedouin as a members of Israel and not only Israelite. This is a national project, but we have a lot of donors also. My wife, she's Doctor of Education. She's also the counselor of the Air Force School in Beer Sheva. We, as you understand, are working outside the kibbutz. I will go back to my family story, but now, why we are standing here? Because at this point, it's Saturday, 6:30, you know, when they started the massive missiles attack, but just before that, something like 6. They cut the fence and got inside the kibbutz. They came to the kibbutz from 3 different places. The hole in the fence is just the hole in the fence, the graveyard, the gate, and the main gate. On 6:30 a.m. we woke up for a massive unnormal missile attack. When I'm saying unnormal, when someone shoots at you even 1 missile, it's not normal. But we used to that once in a while. In that Saturday, it was really massive attack, and we ran to the safe house, to the safe room, closed the door. I was looking at my watch, 6:30, so I thought, okay, probably we won't go back to sleep, so let's turn on the coffee machine. 5 minutes, it will end, and we start our Saturday morning. Really minutes after that, people just wrote on the WhatsApp group, the Kibbutz WhatsApp group, we call it the mothers group, that there are terrorists inside the kibbutz. You need to imagine how you feel when you read those words. Terrorists inside the kibbutz. It's something we didn't even think about, dreamed about. You probably will ask, but you are 5 kilometers from the border. But we used to think that we have defense, we have the military, we have the Air Force, we are protected. And I just went out of the room, closed the door, the main door and the porch door, because in the kibbutz you go to sleep with the doors open. And went back to the safe room, took my dog outside. I was a K9 combat when in my military service, and I had a really nice, big, well-trained German Shepherd. He was with me in the room because we need to, to be safe from the missiles, but now we deal with terrorists. So I just put him outside. I know Arabs afraid from dogs. Maybe we'll do something. And I closed the door and just look for ropes and things like that in order to secure the handle of the door, because people will start to write in the same group that they trying to go inside, keep the handle off, just you need to keep the handle with your hands because they're trying to go inside. And from 6:30 until when I were rescued, and I will tell you about that, we've been in the safe room without water, food, or bathroom. From the last supper, Friday supper we had at something like 8-9 o'clock, until we rescued at midnight. I will go back to my story, but just give you the information, just to be knowledge. Kibbutz Beri, established in 1947, is one of the 11 settlements that were established in one day in Yom Kippur Day in the south, 1 year before Israel established. When the independence war started, Kibbutz Beri, that were established 4 kilometers south than here, just moved to this place. Unfortunately, they didn't move far enough. On Friday night, we celebrated the 77th anniversary, the establishment of Kibbutz Beri. So we had something like 200 visitors, family members that came to the kibbutz and also stayed for the night. Kibbutz Beri is the biggest kibbutz in the region and one of the biggest kibbutz in Israel. We used to be 1,200 people. Now we are just less than 1,100. We have 92 casualties and 8 hostages. We used to have 27. The girls and the women came back, but we have 8 men, and 2 of them are friends of mine that are still there, and we know that they are alive or was alive a week and 10 days ago, because people who came back from Gaza were with them in the same room. Kibbutz Beri is one of the first kibbutzes in Israel that invested in factories. We have this beautiful, successful printing factory, but it's a high-tech factory, it's not printing. And we used to laugh that in Kibbutz Beri, the first thing we produce is printing, but the second thing is kids. From 1,200 members, we have something like 320 kids. It's a living kibbutz, it's a young kibbutz. In each time of the day, you will see kids riding bicycle, playing football, running, laughing. It's not like, there is a lot of kibbutzes in Israel that they are kibbutz, seniors kibbutz. This kibbutz is young. And we moved from Sunday until today, most of us, to the hotel in the Dead Sea, on the shore of the Dead Sea. It's realistic, they put us on the Dead Sea. And what we're gonna do, what you're gonna hear, that's the story of Kibbutz Beri, the story of few members of us, the story of my family, and also the needs of Kibbutz Beri. This place is where everything was started. Here you see the tank trail that came just late in the evening. And in this place, one of the horrible stories happened, because that family, Rinat, Chen, and their kids, escaped from the safe room because the terrorists burned their house. One thing they did is, if they couldn't open the door, they just turn fire and wait for the families to go out, either from the door or jump from the window. They could shoot them and they could take them as the hostages. this family managed to escape and they run and hide in the bushes. The terrorists tracked them. The parents, were lying on the kids, 4 kids. The terrorists shoot them, they kill the parents, they kill the first 2 brothers, but the last 2 brothers remain still and alive. When their parents' bodies and their brothers are on and near them. After an hour and a half or something like that, he's a small kid, he's not good with timing. They run to the next door, got inside the safe room and remained there until they rescued. So, Evan family, what remained from them are 2 kids without parents and without brothers. This is only one story, but this is the story of the place we are standing now. In each house, in each place you're gonna cross by, there is a story. Heroic story, horrible story. 92 casualties, it's a huge number for a community like that. This is a socialist kibbutz. Everyone knows everyone. We walk in and put in our salary in the kibbutz account. The cars are not belong to us. The houses are not belong to those who live in. And we decided to live like that because the community was so hugging and welcoming and united that we decided that this is the best place to raise the children. Come with me.
But he used to volunteer here. I don't know why he came from Canada.
No, talking to you guys.
היית בעוקץ באיזה מחזור?
99, נובמבר 99. אני הקמתי צוות מרדפים תקיפה פה אחרי היציאה מלבנון. היה לנו צוות מרדפים תקיפה שחלש על כל עזה, 4 כלבים. It's said that this house is secure. And why I told you it's a great question, because of the house we are facing. We have a story with that they write this place is secure, but you will hear about it. And when I'm saying secure is from bombs, but you have another writing under it that this place is without any remains. So the first one is secured from weapons or guns or bombs. The second one without remains. And at the first days they used to do it in each day because we still have terrorists 3-4 days after that Saturday. So in every day they sketch the houses, and then because of that you have few writing in different colors, so people will know a number. Soldiers were killed here even at Sunday noon, and also at Monday few of them were wounded. The kibbutz were completely secured without terrorists just on Tuesday morning.
They were
Hiding inside houses, places, all around. Yes. We had something like 500 terrorists inside the kibbutz, and they pull outside something like almost 200 bodies of terrorists. Okay.
So 300 of the 500.
And also 300, we don't know if they either went back to Gaza, go to another kibbutz from here. where we are standing, it's a neighborhood that we call the olive neighborhood. Why is that? Because we used to have olive trees all around. In Israel, there is a law that you cannot destroy an olive tree. So after the houses were finished, we brought back for each house an olive tree. Because of that, you will see in the front of those houses, and also here, that's the remains of the olive region, that they have an olive tree. And how you named neighborhoods in the kibbutz? By the things we used to have before. So we have the olive tree, that's the vinery. You have the how they call it, eucalyptus, and several like that. 6:30 a.m. we are inside the safe room, tightening the handle of the door and just waiting. On 7:30, I was writing in that WhatsApp group that and the main key word is terrorists are near my house, because I heard them speak just outside my door. We didn't even imagine, you asked me before how many, we didn't even imagine that they spread all over the kibbutz, the numbers. But immediately people started to write, they are here, they are in my house, they are at my yard, and we understand, because you know everyone, that they are all over. At 9:15, my mother-in-law wrote in the family group that there are terrorists outside their house. Later we knew that they've been here from 7:30, because my friend that got wounded, he was from the risk squad, that got wounded just in front of us. He was trying to go and help them, because he heard them screaming at 7:30, and at that time the terrorists were all over the roofs. And from 9:15 to 10:04, she was writing us, the terrorists are outside, they are inside the house, they are throwing grenades on us, they're shooting the door of the safe room, dad is wounded in his chest, I'm also, I don't know where is the army? And the last words were, help, help, at 10:04. When we reached the hotel, my wife's brother that fought in the Beri squad, he was one of the 4 members that didn't either wounded or died from that 11-member squad, was talking with her on the phone, and he recorded the conversation. I can send you that after that with the video of my wife. And he was telling her, Mom, you need to be strong, you need to be tough. The army is on his way, but he was lying. There is no army at that time in the kibbutz. And she, because she was really realistic, strong woman, she was saying to him, Yuval, no, that's probably the last time we're going to speak. We're not going to see each other anymore. Please tell everyone that I love them, that we love them. And you could hear the screaming and the shooting on the phone. So we, that were 300 meters from here at our house, knew from 10 until midnight that they rescue us, that there is no more father and mother, grandpa and grandma. And we need now to fight for our lives. At something like 6 p.m., they throw grenades on our house and shoot our house. And they will keep going and coming from under the stairs from our storage, because they were hiding there and also put weapons there. I'm living in the 2nd floor, 16 years. My friends laugh at me that I don't even have one small yard, and I'm living in the kibbutz, but that was my fortress. That's what saves us. And when they threw grenades on the safe room, my son just told me that, Dad, I don't want to die here. And I was looking at him with my baseball bat, because that's what I have. And I used to be a bodyguard of Minister of Economic. And I told him, we have the baseball bat, we have the dog, no one is going to kill you today. But until then, until we're going to go out of here, you, all of you, make a list what you're going to take when we will go out. And they made a list. While we whispered in the room because they were under it. And when the army came at almost midnight, they yelled, IDF, IDF, and I told them, man, I know. Also the terrorists say they are IDF. What is your unit number? They didn't know. So I called someone from the security that work with the kibbutz, with the troops, and I told him, if there are soldiers near my house or at my door, they need to yell my last name. And they yell it, Pinyan, Pinyan. I said, okay, break the door. And they broke the door, and we went outside. I grabbed I just went to put something on me because I was with my boxers, but I grabbed my phone and my purse because you don't need nothing else in your life. My wife grabbed the charger of the phone in order to tell everyone that we are safe. Not yet. My teenage daughter brought everything. The saravet, the makeup, the jewelries, the billabong, the Adidas in a small school bag. My kid put whatever he put, but we forgot his bag. And my daughter put whatever she put in her bag. And just before we go downstairs, a very smart, gentle soldiers came to me and told me, look, we don't have vehicles. We're going to run under fire because we have few battle zones around us. But there are a lot of bodies everywhere. Just put your hands on your eyes, kids, when we are running. And that's what I did. And my son was like, I can't see nothing. I told him, grab my shirt. And my dog is on my left. And we run to the sites of bodies, of soldiers, of terrorists, one kibbutz member. The houses that wasn't like that, they were on flames. And while we were running, there was such an annoying, disturbing noise from my daughter bag that my wife carried, and it was like, and I was looking at my wife. The soldiers look at me. We didn't know. We keep running for something like 70 minutes until we went to a place that's supposed to be safe, where the bus needs to take us. Huh? Schweizer. But then a terrorist jumped in front of us and shot all over us. He missed, but he was the first one who shot. The soldiers killed him after that, but he had his opportunity. And then the IDF understand that bus is not a good idea, so they let go the bus and brought the armed truck, because there are terrorists on the road also. And when we get to the hotel, there was a mountain of chocolate waiting at the lobby, but my children took 2 cans of tuna and 1 can of corn. And we asked them why you did that. And they were saying, you can be sure that they won't come here also. At least we have something to eat, because we've been there without food, water, and bathroom from last supper on Friday night. And my son also asked me to keep the handle. And he was whispering 2 days after that, because we were whispered at the room. And my daughter came to me, the smallest one, the small, sharp one. And we were with friends and something like that, and she didn't want to embarrass me. So she took me aside and said, Dad, it wasn't a clever idea to tell the soldiers to say our last name. It's writing on the door. And I realized how she's okay if she's thinking about that. And when we go to her bag, we pull a can with 7.5 shekels in 10 cents coins. That's what making the noise while we're running. And my wife asked her, why you do that? And she was looking at me like that and said, Dad, you said to take the money, so I took the money. And as you can see, because of the books and toys and clothes, my children used to live here on the grandfather and grandmother house. We walked outside the kibbutz. We left the kibbutz at something like 8 in the morning and went back at something like 6 in the evening. When they came back from school, they having lunch here, they playing here, they do their homework, they stay for the night. It's 300 meters between us. Here used to be a green grass, pizza oven, barbecue, the hula hoops, trampoline, small pool that's still standing. And that was really heaven for our kids. On Saturday nights or Saturday lunch in a nice spring day, kids used to be all over that neighborhood together. They were running, playing football. We were changing meals. I brought the pizza and they will bring us a bottle of wine. It was the opposite because Amir loved wine. He used to bring them wine. I'm speaking with you all and I hear the birds, and that's remind me that I have a friend from Tel Aviv that used to call me and telling me, Lotan, I'm coming back to Be'eri to hear the birds and then go back to Be'eri. We used to laugh that Be'eri, it's near the Gaza border, because if not, it would be too damn good. It was a piece of heaven. The people who lived there were a kibbutznik, but they were, if Mati was an educator, the boss of the house, we were like arguing politics on meals. And she was the one who stayed and talked with me. I used to be a Jewish philosophy teacher before I did what I do. And we were like talking and arguing about life. And Amir, he loved to sit on his sofa, drinking wine, watch his grandchildren running. And he was so perfect to Mati, because she was saying to him, Amir, 55-inch is too small, we need 70. Whatever. You know what? I need the Magimix. Whatever. You know what? We need to do a trip after army because we didn't do that. So let's buy a cruising ticket to Australia and New Zealand. Whatever. And that's what they're supposed to do in January. We were dealing in canceling flying tickets 1 week after that. But we thought they were killed here. They won't. They wasn't. My friend that was fighting inside the kibbutz called Michal and me one day, and he asked her if she wanted to know how her parents died. And she said, of course, because Michal, she's really, really tough woman. She's keeping the family together from then and now. And she's the one who did the funeral, the ceremonies, wrote everything. He knew why he came to her. And he told us that he found Mati and Amir not far from where you parked your bus, but in the second road near the signs. They were handicaps. They shot through the head. Probably they were severely wounded before that, so if they want to take them as the hostages, they just couldn't go. And that explains to us why they found their documents there. And when they brought us the documents, we didn't understand how the documents were found there. So we thought, okay, they wanted to take things from the house in order to do that in Gaza or something like that. But we know that they want to take documents in order to say after that we have those persons, that's the documents. And on last Thursday, someone put a picture of a ring that he found there. And I was showing the picture and telling my wife, this is the same ring you have. Didn't you and your mother order the same ring? And she was looking at that and said, that's the ring. And they brought us the ring just on last Thursday. The house wasn't like that. I came 1 week after that Saturday in order to rescue my 3 classics Alfa Romeo. But a week after that, I came to this house in order to find something to remember. I found Kalashnikov. I didn't took it. I found the terrorist vest with the arm on their bed, and also a live grenade that was just lying on a shelf in the safe room. But there was a closet. I'm glad that it was an IKEA closet. That inside I found 25 albums of the wedding, bar mitzvahs, ceremonies in the kibbutz, holidays from 1972, I think, something like that, until the late 90s. And I videoed that and told the family I found the treasure. And my friend that was in the reserve squad with me told me, okay, Lotan, let's go. The grenade is staring at us. He was right. A week after that, the grenade exploded and burned the house. That wasn't like that. The house was ruined, but without fire. I was sending him the video, I have the video, and he was laughing and said, we could become a nice article. A refugee from Beri went back in order to explode in his mother and father-in-law house. But we have those albums. And I'm also, I'm the first vice member, family member that was outside vice family member. I'm the first one who got inside this family because Michal, she's the oldest one. And I know them for 21 years. This is half of my life. And I can recognize here a lot of things. And when I keep coming here, I see things that I didn't saw before, even now. And we won't forget them, but we need to look forward. We need to build our kibbutz. We need to regroup again, reunited. We are now, most of us in the Dead Sea Hotel, but we also have groups that spread all over the country. We have 186 houses to build and another few dozens, I think, no, maybe 20 houses that are not capable to rebuild. We need to deal with our mental care, especially our kids' mental care. Each of one of the kids are dealing the situation in a different way. We don't know when it's going to strike them. My teenage daughter, she were in the 2, 3 first weeks just wondering what will be with her friends. But they came back from Gaza Strip. Two girls, probably you heard their name, Alma and Gali. Alma and her brothers are without her mothers that were killed and without her fathers that is still in captivity. Gali lost her brother when they escaped the burning house. He didn't manage to run quickly enough and they killed him. So my daughter is healing herself with just grouping with the girls and talking and just hugging. My boy is a sensitive one. He's playing drums. After 1 week that he didn't leave the room, I bought him those electric drums in order to, hit the pain on them. And also with the Lego that I bought him from my house and from kind people that brought us, he managed to go outside and now he's probably okay. And my cute, clever 9 years old girl, she's saying to us, because we are dealing with the situation, what we're going to do, we're not going to come back here for the last 4 or 5 years, let's say 4, we're not going to be refugees around the country, we need to find a place, and the house is not ours, so the government will bring the money for the kibbutz, but as a member of the kibbutz, if you want to go somewhere, someplace else, you need to pay the rent. So we're dealing with that situation, and she was saying, Dad, home is where we are. The 9 years old. And we had a lot of, conversation, and the oldest one want to, keep and stay with her friends. That's what she's minded to, the age. And Adar just closed the conversation. She said, that home is where everybody, where all of us is home. And that's only 3 examples of dealing with kids. We have kids that don't speak about the situation. We have kids that still don't know what happened with the rest of the class. Probably it's going to strike them. We know that because we're dealing also with trauma soldiers that had trauma, and we know that even 3, 4 years after that, they saw something, they heard something, and everything came back. So especially someone who had this, and it is a small Holocaust, we'll have this. You need to deal with that in a way and for the rest of his life. And we need to rebuild the kibbutz again. The government will give us the 4 walls, but not the same as it used to be. By the way, the house ended here, you see? You see the structures? That's the dining room, it was here. But we have another section of education, after school education system that's on us. We need to put the grass again, we need to put the flowers again. Kibbutz is not a place that you go just, went back from war, go to your house and close the door. Our children are running barefoot all over. We used to laugh that we don't need to buy the shoes all the time because they leave the shoes at the house, at the porch, and just run barefoot. And that's what we are dealing with now. It's a huge kibbutz. We have families that probably will not come back. We have seniors that were part of this kibbutz establishment, they want to come back even now. And we have those who just finished their army and they want to be the first one who plant the tree. But the main thing, the main consider is their families. That's just one perspective of the story, but we have a lot more. We just keep going from this neighborhood that only 3 survived from all the neighborhood. All the houses that you can see here, no one left. No one. Also in that section, no one. And we're gonna go to that direction, to the place that we used to educate our children, and we'll send you away. Toda. Amen. You know, I used to be a counselor in Ramat Darom.
I work in Ramat Darom. באמת? בקיץ הבא? וגם כן לשעבר, וגם כן... I was married there.
In our military service. You know, Miracle, who were here, were killed. This house, not even one bullet hole. And the people that lived here saved. They're with us. מעולה. תכווין את הרכב Nobody remains. This one, it's no armed or weapon or grenades.
And what does it say?
יש גופה של מחבל. There is a body of terrorists inside.
יש גופה, and that means מחבל. Terrorist. Just like the fancy
Right.
So were any soldiers?
Colors are like for when,
What?
when they check them.
Any soldiers?
And then Vicky said, what are you doing next year? We need a rabbi. That's how we got to Tennessee.
A kibbutz education. And why is that? Because after they came back from school, what identified the kibbutz, remember a kibbutz young kid, is that we keep doing the education of our children after they finish school. They have the youth club here, they learning piano, guitar, everything here. They join in the judo class. This is the library where they can do their homeworks, listen to a lecture, and see a play. All of this area, you see the halls, you see everything, all of this area was held strongly by terrorists because it's almost the main junction between the center, you know, the dining room and the offices and everything, to the neighborhoods. And for example, there are a lot of let's say not Israeli fans that are saying, look, all of this damage, this is IDF damage. They did that, not the terrorists. And they're right. But why they did that? Because terrorists kept the houses, kept the place, kept the kindergarten, and they fought with them. But they realized that in order to keep forward to the neighborhoods, they need to run them over. Because you see, only the safe house is remained, the safe room. And the terrorist was using the safe room. Anytime that the soldiers were shot at them, they were running to the safe room. You see, the safe room is burned because the IDF threw grenades to that place. And one miracle that we are saying is, you know what? It happened in 6:30. If it would happen at 8:30, at 9, this place is full with kids. On Saturdays, they came here to the library because they have a play to see. They came to the playing ground to play. Behind me is the basketball court. It's full with kids. And this is one thing that we are saying, it could be even worse. And all of this area, we're gonna build from our donors, budget, whatever, because the government will not give you back the places that are not either. They will, clean the place and everything, but this is not a house. And it's a kibbutz. Probably one of two of these places not even have documents because we build them. And when I was telling you that families need to go back to a complete kibbutz, that we want to go back to a kibbutz that you have only the houses. If you don't have the education system and the education facilities and the gardens and everything complete, the families won't come back. That's all. It's complete. The hostages were in this house, Pessi house. 20 hostages that the terrorists gathered together in that house, and they just told one of them to call the police and tell them that they are hostages and they want to negotiate. And one of the hostages just called the police and said, we are 20 hostages in a house near the dining room, but the police heard dining room, and we looked for those. When we got rescued, we looked for those who rescued from the dining room, and we couldn't find even one that was there. And then Hadass is the only person that survived from that house. She came and told the story. We don't know if the IDF killed them with a tank shell that was firing at the house, or if the terrorists killed them before the tank shot at the house. But one survivor from 20, kids, seniors, people like in my age that were gathered in this one house. And if you just go further in the neighbor inside, there are, as you saw before, places that intact, but the people that lived in those houses died because they just pulled them out of the house. They didn't need to shut at the house. They didn't need to make fire. Just took the families outside. One of my best friends from the kibbutz, his parents died here, and the house is complete. The house is just stay still, without even one bullet hole. They just came inside, opened the door, 72 years old couple, pulled them out and killed them.